Well, good morning, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me again. In today's video I'm down in my local woodland, and I've not actually been to this part of the woodland before, especially at this time of year, and it's looking really good with the wild garlic at the moment. It is the start of the season of the wild garlic and the bluebells, so it should be looking pretty good, but we've had quite a lot of rain over the last few weeks, so I did think the sort of flowers would be damaged by that, but they're looking pretty good this morning. And as you can see, the sun's out as well. It's looking quite a nice morning, so it should get some really nice images. Like I say, it's a new area, woodland. I've not been here before. There's plenty of wild garlic here by the look of it, and there's some really nice paths leading through, so I should make some nice leading lines going through the scene as well. So I'm gonna have a good explore around now and see if I can find a composition, and when I do I'll put you back on and I'll show you what I've got. Okay, so I've got my first composition set up here, and it's basically where I've just done that intro there. It's the start of the woodland, and I really like this sort of path that leads through the scene here. And just as the sun comes and goes, it's providing some really nice sort of like shadows and highlights through the scene, and it looks quite nice. It's a really nice sort of establishing shot, explaining where I am and showing the sort of wild garlic itself. I'm basically just using the path here just on the sort of right hand side, and having the sort of right hand edge of the path coming in from the sort of right hand corner there, so it kind of leads you in through the image. And I've also got the camera sort of shooting down a little bit just to try and include a lot more of this foreground garlic, and also eliminate some of the sky as well. There is some gaps in the trees above there which I don't really want to have really bright highlights in that sort of top section of the image. So I'll just show you the back of the camera here. As you can see there, just got the sort of path leading through the image, and it sort of comes in from this sort of right hand side here. And again, like I say, shooting down a little bit just to try and chop off the top of them trees where them gaps are, and those highlights are coming through from the sky. So just going to take that now, shooting a 2-second timer, and it's f8 100th of a second, and just taking that now. So it's looking pretty good, and I'll put that on screen for you now, and just let me know what you think down in the comments. Okay, so I've got my next composition set up here, and it's a little bit different, this, a little bit abstract, and basically as I was walking through the woodland there on the path, it kind of caught my eye, all the light streaming through and sort of making these wild garlic flowers really stand out, the white against the dark sort of shadowy backdrop. And these two trees just in the foreground here were kind of like catching the light as well, so they're kind of sticking up into the sort of dark background there, so it's making them really pop in the image. So I'll just show you the back of the camera just so I can explain it a little bit better. But as you can see there, you're getting a really bright foreground here with the sort of flowers catching the light, and these two trees sticking up into that dark background there. So I think it makes really interesting shot, this. Hopefully it turns out okay, and if it does, I'll put that on screen for you now. Okay, so I've been walking through the woodland now for about half an hour. I've taken quite a few shots of these sort of paths leading through the wild garlic, and I've just been trying to come up with like something a little bit different, and look for like another subject to put in the frame as well. So found these really nice trees here. Got one here I'm going to be using in my next shot. I've just got that set up at the moment, and I've also got another one which is on the other side here. So I'm just using that sort of trunk as the kind of like main subject for this shot I've got set up here. I've got that first tree just on the sort of right hand third there, and basically using that as the sort of main focal point in the image. And again, there's going to be this path going through the wild garlic here. The light's looking really good now. There is quite a lot of sort of shadows and highlights which might be a problem in post, but at the moment it looks pretty good, so we'll just have to see how that turns out in the sort of post-production. And yeah, it's looking really nice now. It is sort of getting a little bit windy now as well, so I'm having to use quite a fast shutter speed and bump up the ISO just to try and sort of make sure there's no sort of blurring in the image. But yeah, once I've done this shot, I think that'll be it for the sort of like paths going through, and I might focus on something a little bit more creative, maybe get in for some sort of like close-up images and also get the long lens out and try and get some bokeh or something like that with the you know, pick a subject and make a nice bokeh background, something like that. Just try something different. Okay, so I'll put this image on now for you of this old tree trunk, and hopefully you like it. Like I say, we're gonna have a hunt round now for something a little bit different, get a little bit creative and get the long lens out and try something a little bit different. Okay, as you can see there, I've got my next composition set up and I'm just trying something a little bit different. Like I said, I'm just going for that kind of minimalistic image where you just got this single flower head against a really nice soft bokeh background, and it's been quite fun just to try and sort of pick out a nice subject in all this chaos, especially with the sort of long lens, because as soon as you get sort of focused in on one, if you move a little bit you kind of like off and then you lose it. But yeah, it's been a nice challenge just to try and pick one out, and I think I picked a really nice one there. A few other things to consider. You want to try and pick like a flower head that's kind of isolated on its own, so maybe a little bit taller than the rest of the ones in the foreground that are next to it. Once you've isolated that, you need that bit of distance between the sort of subject itself and the background. Obviously with it being a little bit sloped here, it's kind of like providing that background sort of behind the subject, so you're getting that bit of distance, that clear distance between the sort of subject and the background itself. So we've got the 70-300 lens on there, and I'm shooting right in at 300mm. Again, they're just focusing in on that flower head itself, and that's allowing me to get that really nice sort of bokeh effect behind. I'm also shooting at f5.6 again, just to try and get that shallow depth of field and really blur out that background. So I'll put that image on for you if it works out nice, and we're just going to head round now and keep exploring this. I'm going to try and do a little bit more abstract images, come up with something a little bit different, maybe some close-up stuff with this sort of long lens I've got on here. So yeah, we'll just see what we can come up with, and I'll put you back on once I found something. So I'm not sure if you can see that there, but there's a small little ladybird just on the sort of flowers there, so I thought I'd use that as a bit of a subject in this next shot. And I've been playing around with that for about sort of 10 minutes or so, just to try and get the focus right and get everything you know, sharp in the actual flower and the ladybird, and again just allowing that sort of background just to blur out there. But it is getting quite windy now, so it's quite challenging to get that subject really nice and sharp, because obviously it's blowing in the wind. So putting up the ISO and stuff like that, but still making it quite challenging because it's kind of leaving the frame itself. So it's been really difficult just to try and sort of pinpoint something, especially when you're so close and you fill in the frame with that particular flower. A little bit of breeze just kind of knocks it out of frame and obviously makes your shot no good. But I think I've got a couple of nice shots there, so I'll put them on screen for you now. Okay, so I've been looking around for about 20 minutes now. I think I've exhausted all the kind of like typical woodland images. So again, I'm just going back to the sort of close-up stuff, getting something a little bit different, a little bit abstract, and put the 50mm prime lens on. So this time I'm just going to be focusing on the head itself and just focusing on one particular area of the flower head, one set of sort of petals if you like, and allowing the rest of the sort of flower to go kind of like soft into the background and sort of blur out. But I think this looks really good. It's really abstract and there's quite a lot of detail in the sort of flower itself, so it makes a really nice interesting sort of macro shot. I know it's not technically macro, but it is quite close up, and obviously all that detail is coming through as well. And again, the background's looking really nice and soft, so it does look kind of like ethereal. It's really nice. Okay, so I'm going to end the video there. Hopefully you enjoyed this week's video. It's been really good to get out this morning and explore this new woodland. Like I say, I've not been down here before, and the garlic looks really good down here, so I'll be definitely returning. And the weather's also starting to pick up now. It's just been really nice and warm and sunny this morning. It looks like spring's actually finally arrived here in the UK after all the rain we've had the last few months. And yeah, so next week I'm going to be looking at my local woodland, something a little bit closer to home, and looking at the bluebells down there. That'll be next week's video. Hopefully we'll get some nice shots down there. The bluebells do look pretty good down there this time of year, so hopefully we'll get some nice images. So yeah, if you have enjoyed the video, like I say, please consider subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the like and share button, and also leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the videos, and also the images as well. It's really good to hear from you guys, and I'll always get back to you in the comments. So until the next one, bye for now.